Hello everyone, I've been scripting my board game in Tabletop Simulator for 90 days now. In this video I want to show you the 9 problems that I faced and my 9 solutions to those problems. All the problems in this video have to do with adding custom objects into your game. If you want to know more about scripting or some of the initial things, I have earlier videos for that. But now let's begin with the first problem. How do you add custom objects into Tabletop Simulator? The answer is Unity. Download this specific Unity project, open it in Unity, add any game object you want, create a new material, give it some color, some reflection, add it to the object, prefab folder, drag and drop, name it something, test, assets, build asset bundles, bam! Objects, components, custom, asset bundle, click, right click, main, test, open, cloud, upload, type, import, bam. It's all done exactly like this. The walls, for example, are quads, right click, 3D object, quad, right click, create, material, pick an image, drag on top of quad, make it bigger, prefab, drag and drop, name it something, assets, build asset bundles, done. Objects, components, custom, asset bundle, click, right click, main, open, cloud, upload, type, import, bam. Time for the second problem. How do you change the reflections in the table? Well, unfortunately you can't, but you can do something else. You can change the background to any of these presets. In my case, the reflections are best from the tunnel. And then you can, in options, lighting, change a bunch of stuff that has to do with how the light affects the scene. And I also, outside these quads, added just completely black squares, like this. So the original background is still here, it's just behind a bunch of stuff. And to do that, I used the scale tool, which is amazing. After you click something, you can use these arrows to move it around in any axis. You can also set the exact values here to whatever you want. And for my black squares, you can set the scale to whatever you want. My third problem was, how do you place the players around a custom table? The answer is also the scale tool, because the scale tool can move zones. So if I move the zones like this, you'll see that those color places have moved. If I select that color, I'm like it bugs out because it's in the middle of the table, but I am there. If I move it back to somewhere where it's more reasonable, maybe here, the blue player will be here. So you start with any table. Then you go to zones, hands, you right click and delete the colors that you don't want. You then use the scale tool to position the hands where they are supposed to be. And that's how I ended up with this setup. Hi, just a short interlude. I wanted to say thanks again for all the positive feedback that my previous post got on Board Game Geek. This really meant a lot to me. I got super excited. Thank you so much. Everything I'm talking about in this video will also be open source. The code is it's really bad right now. So I'm going to fix all that. We're going to release on Tabletop Simulator, and then I'll make everything that I made so far open source as well. Let's get back to the video. My fourth problem was how to get custom 3D objects into the scene. The solution for me was Blender and OBJ files. The actual table was made by Stefan at Rithuset, so shout out to Stefan. Inside Blender, you do file export OBJ. You put them inside the Unity project, drag them into the scene, double click to focus, and from here you put them in Tabletop Simulator like anything else from Unity. My fifth problem was that I wanted to be able to click graphics that are under the glass. This thing I can click, but we don't see a button. This is a button we can see and click, but the part that is under the glass, we can't click. The solution is that there is an invisible button above the glass. We can make that button visible, and there it is. That's what we're clicking. My sixth problem was to get animations to play under the glass. I thought this was straightforward, but let me give you an example. That animation is a sprite sheet. If we just add it to Tabletop Simulator like usual, add the glass table, going to lock this and make it smaller. That's a good reflection. Add this animation, put it under the glass, looks good from this side, suddenly it looks like it's atop the table. You can actually see where it switches here. To fix this, I created a custom material in Unity. It's an unlit texture. If we use this material instead, it will now always be under the table. The 7th problem was how to get the startup animation to transition into a stable loop. My solution was to have 2 animations, because in Unity stuff can either loop or not loop. So one animation here is just a loop, the other one is the startup followed by one loop and then stopping. And here they spawn on top of each other, then in the middle of the loop when they are synced up, the top one is removed. And because the startup animation is the exact same length as the loop itself, the transition is really only visible if you're looking at it. My 8th problem was to get the menu working, specifically the different versions. By the way, there is a competition on the 16th of February. On the 16th of February, when this launches on Tabletop Simulator free to play, first one to beat the game on hard mode is going to get one of the original Lincoln 2024 boxes, with the game inside obviously. If you record yourself beating the game on hard mode, then you will instead get a sealed 1.00 alpha version of Blockminers. More details are on the Discord server, links are in the description. So the difficulty just triggers different spawning behavior, but from where does it get the cards? If you make yourself the game master and you zoom out the bunch, there is a zone over here where all the cards are available. There is a collection of grids for 1.1 cards or 1.2 cards. And changing this up here changes this thing in the config, which then in the big spawn the game animation defines which grid to spawn. So when I click start, this sweeping animation plays, the animation underneath is deleted, cards from the correct version is added based on what was in the config. So that's the cards. But where are the effects? That's what these small cubes are for. This cube puts all the effects inside the table. This cube puts all the effects over here. And you can actually see this if you flip the table, because then all the effects explode out. If you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more like this, and if you want to have a chance to win prizes on the 16th of February, then come join our Discord server. Links are in the description. I wish you a great rest of the week.